right, good morning and welcome to the agenda this lovely Monday morning. Well, my name is Chike Ubogu, but before we go ahead on the agenda, it seemed to be a Black Monday in the brown roof city of Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, where news reaching us right now is saying that the Olubadan of Ibadan land, who celebrated his 90th birthday over the weekend, has joined our illustrious ancestors at this time. Well, it's a time for mourning. However, there is this common saying in Ibadan land, say Ibadan Agboti Kuyo, whatever that means. Well, those in the studio this morning will be shedding some light on that. Well, Olubadan, that's Oba Olakuleyin Owolabi Ige the First. What we're getting now is that he has joined our illustrious ancestors, and may the grand architect of the universe grant him a safe passage. Well, what are the dynamics of the next Olubadan? Well, it's a line, it's something that is known, it's not hidden, it's a transparent system. So we'll be waiting for the palace and the government to give more updates on this at the moment. Well, now on the agenda today, the former Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, has clarified that he remains a member of the Labour Party and has not defected to the African Democratic Congress, ADC, despite aligning with a newly formed opposition coalition ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking during an interview, Obi explained that his involvement with the coalition is based on a shared intention to work together for the 2027 polls, but does not amount to membership in another political party. Let's get to listen to Peter Obi.
Together for the sake of Nigeria. Today, I'm a Labour Party member, and I remain in Labour Party. But we have all agreed to work in coalition for 2027 election. And for that, we've just adopted ADC. Going on, other parties, other individuals are going to still come in. But it's just like an unveiling, like you used it before, an adoption, which will still go into bringing other people together under the same umbrella and saying, we want better governance for this country. We want to see more competent government with the capacity and character to do the right things. Where we are with the coalition, this coalition might have other parties that will come together, like it's happened in the past, and change the name of the party, anything. But right now, we've adopted one party. The other ones are going to come in. So we can't say whether we're going to leave this or we're going to come into this. What is constant now is that we've all agreed to work together.
Well, to discuss this and many more, well, that clip was courtesy Channels Television. To discuss this and many more on this program this morning, I have with me in-house analyst and a development researcher here in the studio, John Izuchukwu. John, good morning. It's good to have you this lovely Monday morning.
Good morning, Chike. I'm always glad to be here.
All right. Also in the studio this morning is a social commentator, an author, a writer. His name, the angel who has no wings, but he has the voice. Angel Folorunsho. Good morning. It's good to have you this morning.
Good morning, Chike. Good morning, Nigerians.
Well, you're not here with your traditional, is it Kangol or Panama? Which one do you call it?
Well, I call it any name that is applicable.
It's good to have you this morning.
Very much.
Well, first of all, I want to commiserate with the people of Ibadan on the safe passage, hopefully, of the Olubadan of Ibadan, who just celebrated his 90th birthday. Well, he he lived a fulfilled life.
That's right.
Becoming from a military officer and then becoming the Olubadan of Ibadan land.
Right.
Yeah, Ibadan is in a state of mourning now.
Yeah.
But do they really mourn? What's the meaning of that Agboti Kuyo?
Well, thank you very much. The reason for that one might be as a result of what some people will call geroncratic practices. That is, before they attain the leadership, the kingship, most of them will have reached a kind of advanced age. So which means any time the safe passage you talk about will just be imminent. So as he passes, then, but again, if you want to look at it, it portrays a kind of a negativity. But when you say, Iku is something, death. It could be something that some people would be afraid of. So if a battle could now be attributed as to, listening to it or saying it as something that is welcome, then it means that one is in the realm of a mystery too, which will be unraveled. And then, of course, the passing on of the Olubadan, where condolences will follow, and then anticipatively, congratulations to the incoming king.
Okay, John, a quick one. Agboti Kuyo. It is an Ibadan slogan. It usually happens when a king, that's the Olubadan, passes. Then the other side, the lineage. It's a process, a ready-made process. So the other side, whoever is going to succeed him, the people of Ibadan will go to the house and start rejoicing. Maybe that's why they say it is Agbo Tikuyo.
I also think that that's true. But again, you also need to look at the social aspect of it. It is possible that people rejoice is because there's something to eat.
Oh, okay.
There's something to share.
Okay.
I mean, it's that time where family and friends and relatives are going to put their resources together. The things they could not do for the deceased, they would do when the person is dead. Now they will spend all their money and kill all the cows and then throw a large party. And so persons who are hungry, perhaps, may want to come, and that's an opportunity to, really enjoy what is done. And then, of course, the next ruling house will be rejoicing because it's their turn to be in government. And you know what comes with it. The Oba is close to the governor, is close to the president, is close to, he's a powerful person.
But looking at the hierarchy of the Olubadans too, well, eminently the next person to become the Olubadan of Ibadan seemed to be known already.
Actually, that was what I was actually thinking about it while I was coming to the studio. Why is it that the Olubadan, since I get to know, has always been very old people?
Yeah, because before you get to that post, you must have climbed some steps. So gradually, so if you become a Mogaji at the age of 40, before you become Olubadan, maybe
I also think that sometime things may happen. That system may have to be checked, because it doesn't make sense to get into become the Olubadan and in 2-3 years you are gone. I'm not thinking that that system may have to be looked at so that younger persons, stronger, with more viable initiative, can come into such positions. We've seen the Ife, the Oni of Ife, and then the recent Alaafin of Oyo and the rest of them. It gives that room for sustainability, for trying to build something that can, you can really say you have laid your hand on things you are building. Not that you just started and within 2-3 years you've gone to join your illustrious ancestors, as you usually say.
Comrade, we seem to know the next Olubadan in line. What should Ibadan people expect from that?
Thank you very much. As usual, the next person is already there, is already on ground, and the implication is that the Ibadan people should, be expecting that more development should come to the Ibadan land, and then peace should reign supreme, and then there should be a kind of a cooperating, and then the cultural artifact should be further developed, so that things will work, and then cooperate with other Yoruba Obas to ensure that things
it might just be the first time a former governor will become the Olubadan of Ibadan land.
Yeah.
It's Ibadan is the city of firsts,
yeah.
And this is another first.
Yeah.
Where a former governor of the state,
yeah.
of Oyo State, will just be ascending his throne as Olubadan of Ibadan land.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to broach that one right away because there could be some rites or rituals, you know, before anybody can pronounce who next. So maybe we would still be speculating as to who the real former governor is, even though we are in the know of it, and then let the thing comes right away from those who are in charge of, putting new Oba.
Okay, now straight to the topic of today. The Labour Party has said, especially the presidential candidate in 2023, Peter Obi, has said he still remains a member of the Labour Party, but still, what he says is, I'm a Labour Party member and I remain in the Labour Party, but we have all agreed to work together in coalition for the 2027 election, and for that we have adopted the ADC. So the question now is this not using the weakest template for an anti-party activity? Let me start with Comrade.
Thank you very much. You know, we know that a political party is an intermediary, you know, between the governors and the people. Is allowed in a multi-party democracy whereby you seek power. And that is the only organization that is quite distinct from other ones like the pressure groups, NLC and the rest. But the basic thing now is that when you now have a political party in that regard, normally what they will say is that you are part here but not part in the other place. So I am not part of you but I am here. That's the meaning. And the implication of that is that you will have ideological driving that is making that political party to move on. And those ideologies will be on the basis of the belief in science, in politics, in international relations, in education, in health. But I don't know what is going on in Nigeria. So the one you just raised now, even Obi joining Labour Party, I told some people, say, Obi, a capitalist joining a Labour Party that is supposed to be at the extreme of the left. I mean, that one is an atomic something even on its own. So, but in Nigeria, the people need
political atomic bomb.
Yeah, but I mean, people just talk about platform, and I call them ticketeers. They look for ticket everywhere. But what are you going to do with the ticket is another thing. So you see ideological problems around there. So with Obi say this one, and then they come in, and then there's another error. They are focusing Tinubu. I don't understand that one. You should focus the problem facing Nigeria. What if you focus Tinubu and other things are going on behind? This is a master strategy is up there. And then you are now having cacophony of voices. So if Obi has said that one, I stayed in Labour, one leg in Labour, another leg in ADC that is just, ADC has been on ground before. Ada could have been disastrous, but now that they're having ADC, which is on ground. So that
would have been disastrous.
Of course, I mean, you are coming to where you are having about 18 political parties on ground already, new one coming to come and do what? All the required ideologies left, right, and center, they are all in that 18 political party. So it's just a matter of just time wasting. I believe in multi-partisan, but at the same time, it's not just to be wasting time. If you don't have anything doing, you can go and join an association elsewhere. So that of Obi now, we will see what is going to happen. When it comes to leadership, picking up leadership, then there's going to be a problem. Now he's already saying that he's going to run as a president. He's not going to, be surrogate to anybody. That one in itself, I don't know how you are forming coalition the way they are doing it. If you are forming coalition, it should be on the basis of the organization that you are bringing some political party. It's not been working in Nigeria. I don't want to go detail.
But it worked in 2014.
That one is not coalition.
What was it?
The 2014, you are talking about the bringing together part of AGAP to form a political party that will have ideology, which is called APC. That's not coalition. Coalition, you will still have means of bringing your own party out later. You will agree on the asset and liability. You will agree on the processes and the distribution of power.
But does our electoral act support this?
The electoral act support that you will come together to form political party. And then the one that you have formed will be the one that will be on the ballot papers.
Okay.
Now, all of them now, they will be on ballot paper. But their thinking now should be that when it comes to presidential system, all of them will now adopt one person. Okay. That's an error. It's another, you will see.
Do you agree with Igwe Folorunshor?
Yeah, very well. You see, I've been asking myself all the while why this coalition started. Is this a coalition of individuals, a coalition of political parties?
Or a coalition of interests?
Of interest. And again, you see that it's a coalition of interests and a coalition of individuals. And like I said the last time we talked about it, they are disgruntled human beings, disgruntled politicians who feel that some of them had been out of power, they want to come back to power. Some of them feel, oh, we need to edge the man out and let's get the power too, because, you know, like he said, you have to take it by force, snatch it and run with it. They want to see if they can snatch it back from him. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, this is Nigeria. This is about Nigerians. 227 is fast approaching. We have been going through very harrowing time and season, economically, politically, security-wise, and all of that. Will this coalition be for the interest of Nigerians? And if you look at it closely, you discover that I don't think it's about Nigerians. It's about some persons wanting to come back to power to prove a point that the North will determine who becomes president. And you see, it is hypocrisy. That's why politicians remain politicians. I think Obi is not coming out clear to tell Nigerians where he stands. And all of this will further, you know, reduce his chances.
Yeah, but do you see former Governor Peter Obi keeping his options open just in case they fail to reach a compromise as a coalition?
Chike, I don't think that this coalition is really going to work. Where they will start having problems, and don't forget that the master strategist himself, by now, has his moles in ADC.
The so-called master strategist.
He has his moles in ADC.
Because there's no champion forever.
Well, you see, the man knows the game.
He knows the game.
And because every man has a price. The guys who are looking for power fundamentally need money. They need influence. They need relevance. And if he promises you, he will give you something, he's capable of doing it because he's the president. So I think, as we speak, he has his moles in ADC. And so this ADC, as it were, in fact, I had some, you know, there's already some issues brewing in the ADC, as it were. So what you are seeing is cosmetic. Eventually, they are going to hit the rock, and the whole issue will come out eventually. So, but if this is about Nigerians, I think it should have been a coalition of political parties coming together to form one strong opposition party that will, you know, provide an alternative for the Nigerian people. But this is about individuals. That's where Nigerians are going to ask themselves critical questions. Is this the safe way to go? Are we going to get anything out of this? Because don't forget that if these people, you know, coalesce together and then give you power, let's assume without considering that they are going to win, the likes of Verify will dictate to you what you do. Atiku will be there, and all of them, Rotimi and Mechi will be there. It's still the same old guys. So I'm thinking, Obi should look at it critically. You see, if it's destined you can't be Nigerian president, you forget about it.
Okay, comrade, is Obi keeping his options open just in case the coalition doesn't see the light of the day? Maybe it turns sour.
Yeah.
Do you think he's trying to play a game like that?
Yeah, well, you know, Obi at times try to go philosophic.
Okay.
You know, in his approach to this their political system. Some of his followers are angry already. You know, they want their labor that Obi could do it single-handedly and win, which will be very, very difficult. Which like flying in the face of social.
But he tried it in 2023.
The event now is quite different because other elements are coming to the fore to challenge all of them. So that one being the case now, that if Plan A fails, there could be Plan B in a nation where there is no regular discipline in the political parties. So that's why you'll be in your own party, you'll now be talking about another political party. Why can't you wait and then develop your party, move to a certain level, and then distribute powers and you know, the booty, which they will find another way of finding it difficult to do. So by the time you look at it, Obi, well, anything goes in the Nigerian political system too. Obi may decide to now want to run. For example, say let's say that Atiku is coming. ADC is likely going to produce Atiku, because Atiku won't play second fiddle, being the most senior somehow, and then the experienced politician who can corrode this present man who is there. They know themselves, the two of them. So, but the other ones that are coming, yeah, if you give them this era and the ambassador and give them dignified exile, they may keep quiet.
Dignified
exile, and then drop their...
Is that what you call ambassadors?
Of course. It's a way of excusing those that we know that can rock the boat at home, once at times.
Interesting.
If you are too critical, they give him some, go to Barbados and go and be... Okay. So you will have forgotten something here, so they won't criticize them. So these are the things that are going on. Anything goes for now.
Okay, I just got a new political lexicon today. Dignified exile. That's what Angel Folorunsho calls these ambassadors. Well, talking about who's going to play second fiddle or first fiddle or whatever, well, Peter Obi has also addressed speculations that he may become the running mate to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in the next election, saying that no such discussions have taken place. Let's get to listen to him.
I said it and I put it in capital. I don't need a day more than 4 years. If I show the direction of good governance, that's why I said in 2 years, there had been maximum damage. That shows 2 years can change it in good direction. People want to get up and see a president that cares, a president that shows compassion. So today we have a country without compassion.
All right, welcome back from that. He says, I don't need more than 4 years. I will show the direction of good governance, meaning that he wants to become president. That's what he's saying. It's no gainsaying anymore. He's declared, so he doesn't want to also play a second fiddle, as it were. But going by the empirical evidence from past presidents and heads of states, can there be a lasting transformation, especially in the area of macroeconomics, in just 2 years? John.
Yeah, see, let's be fair. Let's be fair. I know that a lot of things can change in 1 year, in 2 years. However, with the kind of damage we already have in Nigeria, I also think that the reform, so to say, will take some time to build. Just like corruption is not just endemic, is part of our nature. You can't eliminate it in 1 year in Nigeria, because as you are building one system, someone is devising 10 steps ahead of you to outsmart you. So it will take a lot of process to get it done. So I believe that much should have been done that have not been done. However, 2 years is too early to conclude that this present government has failed. That's on one side for me, but that's not enough to say that some of the policies that have been made, albeit have not been implemented with compassion, like Obi has said. For instance, I've always said that yes, we agree that subsidy should have gone many years ago. However, you don't just wake up one morning and just make a declaration, what we call policy statement, just like that. And you need to have ripple effect on everything, in your country, without building some, so to say, absorber for your people. So, and again, you see that the money you are making from this same process, at the end of the day, the governors are getting huge chunk, and it's not translating to good governance in their states. So all of that dynamic should have been put to place, and that's where the sincerity of leadership comes in. So when you see people being critical about this government, is that even though you are attempting to do something that's right, the approach itself doesn't show that you are honest about it. Okay, how do you talk about the fact that this government is wasteful in the kind of things they do for themselves, and you are telling the people to tighten up, to make more sacrifice, and we have not seen you make equivalent sacrifice in that direction? So it gives concern. It raises a lot of concern, in the heart of the average Nigerian. But in all fairness, governance is continuity, is a continuum. It doesn't just begin and end with one person. I think that 2 years will be too short to say that is a way to evaluate the person or the capacity of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay. Are you in consonance with what he's saying, or you have little dissonance to it?
I'm looking at it from the angle that Nigerians have been producing what we call reluctant leaders over the years.
Reluctant
They were not
leaders.
prepared. That's why you need various political party where ideological something will be brewed. You will have finished governance before you get to power. These people, I don't understand them. How is that waste time? They will tell you, well, like this time, policy on so. Who are you to now ignore it? They will have finished everything. The pros and cons will have been agreed on. But here, you now have all sort of people just coming and say, we need ticket. Well, to go and do what? They are not planning as expected. If you plan, mere thinking, some of the theories taught by some political philosophers are being used till today. So why, how many times did it take before they could get all those things? So if you have planned, within the political party system, you have the policy thrust there and then the direction. Yours will be to go and implement. They will have seen the problems here and there, but the political party, they are not doing anything.
Are you saying Obi, according to what he says,
You one year you will do something, 6 months you do something.
Okay, so we run a constitutional democracy and a presidential system of government that devolves power to the three arms of government. Each of the three components play a major role in chain management that produces change. From Obi's statement, can the executive arm of government work in isolation?
Of course, there's no way the executive arm of government can work in isolation.
So if that is the case, how then can he do something in 2 years?
That is why the issue of political party comes in. I'm an advocate of this party supremacy.
Well, however, these parties you're talking about don't have ideologies,
And then
as it were.
That's an error in itself, which means there will be bad governance.
You were a former chairman of the APGA party in Oyo State.
Yeah.
Did the APGA have an ideology at
Of
that
course,
time?
social democracy. That's our ideology.
Okay.
That's why some of us joined them.
Okay.
They have the things they are focusing.
But you pulled out at the end of the day.
Yes, I decided.
Did the party veer off the ideology? Did the people in the party, the hierarchy, veer off from the ideology of the party?
If you look at my own way of life, I don't believe in staying in a place for a longer time. I always want to explore things elsewhere because my days are numbered. So I can't just stay in one. So that's part of, I wasn't setting.
When you say your days are numbered,
Yeah.
are you looking at the end of the world for you?
Well, when I say my days are numbered, you want to look at it, and I'm always conscious of it so that I can explore some things before the Son of Man passes away. You know, that's the only thing. So I don't believe in it until I finish eternity here. So many things to touch now in a lifetime.
All right. John, interesting. Are you also a Son of Man?
Oh, certainly. I believe in exploring things too, but of course, you see, certain things we take time. That's why we start talking about sustainability in the development space. You build. It takes time to build systems and structures that can keep things going, even when you're no longer there. And however, I believe strongly, like Mr. Angel Folosha said, that it doesn't take eternity to do, to bring development to your people. You don't need an entire 4 years. 2 years can do something. But again, to unbottle the complex nature of this country, sometimes you think about it, you look at all the political thoughts, all the philosophers, and you want to ask yourself, where do we place the Nigeria issue? Because it's as if it's defiling all the principles, all the philosophies that we know. And I have concluded that, just like Achebe said, the problem with Nigeria is leadership. Because if you ask me today, I know that Mr. President, for instance, in security has intelligence report about the security issues of Nigeria and how to deal with it. We're not bereft of intelligent people. It's just that most of the time the leaders do not have the will and the power to deal with individuals who are involved, because at one point or the other they are all, some things have entangled them together. At one place or the other they have commitment to themselves. Regardless of the political party they are in. And so now that one person is in the at the end of affair from a party, you still have ties with other guys. It's difficult to look at the issues headlong and deal with it.
All right, talking about development, Nigeria, blessed with abundant natural resources, a youthful and resilient population, a rich cultural heritage, and strategic geographical positioning, remains paradoxically underdeveloped. This underdevelopment is not merely a failure of capacity or circumstance. It is, in many respects, the outcome of deliberate actions and systemic dysfunctions embedded within leadership institutions and even societal structures. Even more insidious is the resulting alienation of the people, politically, economically, culturally, and even psychologically. Well, what do we understand by the term development? Even underdevelopment, or development of underdevelopment, as conceptualized by scholars? Have you read the works of Andre Gunder Frank, who accurately captures this paradox where development in certain quarters thrives only through the intentional suppression or neglect of others? But what's the case in Nigeria? The phenomenon is almost starkly evident across political, socio-economic, traditional, religious, and communal spheres. Angel Folorunshor, yes. Development, as it were, narrowing it down to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Are we developing on that development, or are we actually developing?
Yeah, thank you very much. Nigeria is growing, but no, it's not developing. You can count numbers of several things, universities, houses that are there, but the quality of life is zero. Because human rights are gradually being implemented to the ground. So once the human rights are not there, what are you developing? So the key issue in development is about human rights, and that one will be anchored on progress. And that progress will be a function of the driver. The driver will be the leaders. Who will drive the thing. The moment the leader says this way, I'm going, others will follow. I don't believe in this, they are talk. I can't do that. You can, if I say I'm a president, I won't ride more than so car. Who are you as minister to ride above that one? And if you want to ride, you follow whatever I want to do. If I say I'm signing in 8 a.m., who are you now to come hate something and be telling me? You understand? So it's about political will that our partner here mentions about. So when you talk about development, it entails of several things. And then, of course, by the time you are looking at it, you look at the evolutionary aspect of it. You look at the revolutionary at times. And then you look at the transformational aspect. And then the core issue is that to make life meaningful to the masses and then quality focused in all ramifications of human existence. And that is what we are talking about. But what about in the situation whereby you have systemic rot, celebrating corruption, making it to work on all fours, and then subculture, and then you now say, then that one will lead to what they call the development of underdevelopment, which means terribly they are developing, but in an underdeveloped manner. And then terribly they are doing what they call progressive retardation. You are moving progressively retarded. You are rushing, but backward. So these are the things going on, in this part of the world.
So you've just made mention of leadership failure, which has led to underdevelopment. Having high-rise mansions and all that does not mean that the people are developed, especially when it comes to
the one producing it.
Well, are we developing as a people when you look at it in the real sense? Okay. Have we moved forward?
Yeah, there are basic indices to look at.
Okay.
You look at health, you look at education, you look at human security.
But let's break it down. Economically, have we developed? Politically, have we developed? Culturally, have we?
Well, you see, there was a time in this country, I saw a newspaper of many years, around 1970 something or so, that said how Nigeria can help Britain.
How Nigeria can help Britain. And there's this other book, what Britain did to Nigeria.
So the newspaper was, Nigeria had enough money, or so much money, that Britain was expecting Nigeria, what they could get from Nigeria to help their own economy. That was a time, a time in history of this country. Now, but event has happened that today, the Ghana cedis is far better than the Nigerian naira. Just imagine it.
You're going too far to Ghana. How about the franc, the CFA?
So it's disturbing.
In Togo.
You see, and you ask yourself, where is that title they gave us? The giant of the continent. So, and our leaders don't seem to see that as a problem. it looks as if they are weaponizing the circumstances to keep us perpetually down so they can continue to rule over us. Because an unempowered human being is not better than a slave. He can't think. Somebody who is hungry, who does not know what it means to have 10 hours power supply. The day you give him 3 hours of power supply, he feels he's living the best of life. Somebody who all his life, right now as I speak with you, professors who they invite formally, like you want to do your external defense in the university now, you want to invite a professor from Uni Abuja, you fly him down to Ibadan. They can't do it because the cost of flying from Abuja to Lagos is almost considered what it used to be 3 years ago. So people now say we can't even risk our life before going through your road because several people have died on this same journey. So you can now imagine what the impact of that on our education system. In a system where hard work is not rewarded, it's those who cut corner. So at the end of the day, Chike, what you have is, just like Mr. Angel said, is you are progressively retarded. If you had remained stagnant, it would have been better. We can look for you how to revamp you and bring you back to life. But what you are seeing is that you are decaying daily. So underdevelopment is a phenomenon that the whole world is fighting. We have signed to be the SDGs, with the Millennium Goals. We never reached it. We signed in for the SDGs, and today 230 is closed. We have done nothing. And you see, when you take away what the 1994 United Nations, resolution of human security, do you think you are personally secured now? Well, we are not. We're not economically secured. We're not politically secure because the political space is now so toxic and is now only available for those who are able to
grab by force.
So saying human beings can be part of it.
Okay, so he's saying the political space is acerbic and corrosive at this time. And then when you look at the socio-economic landscape, are you happy with the situation in the country?
Thank you very much. I cannot say that I'm happy with this because some of the time my partner doesn't even get rest. As early as 4 a.m. I would have been discussing Nigerian affairs. Get soon, because I'm bothered. Our days are numbered. We have the little one to contribute. These people have defining things. They are wallowing in corruption. They are enjoying it. Some of us say no. You understand? So, I mean, it's collective till now being privatized by some elements, and then they are using it to fight you again. So you find it difficult. And then the armed groups too, they are there making things difficult. So we are being fought from two fronts. What we call the structural violence from the government, and then the other violence from the below the something that they fighting up from the unorganized position. So when you have all these things, you not say one is happy. Is it, if you look at the social aspect, you pick education out of that one. Will you say that we are happy with the way the education is good? The products being read out. Even those that are driving the education, that's the professors and the like. Look at the way they are being treated. You look at that. If you want to ruin a nation, destroy the education system. That's the way it goes. And then I will always say that if there is a problem in a country, then go to the brain box. The brain box is supposed to solve the problem. And the brain box is supposed to be the tertiary institutions, the university system. Then look at them. They are doing well outside, but when it comes here, then the thing will sting them. It's as if there's systemic virus there. Ebola, trying to create crisis. You see people bleeding here and there. Instead of democracy, another aspect of it, you have democracy, bleeding of people through ruling. Democracy versus democracy and kleptocracy. All these things going together. And then you now see plutocracy, fewer elements, dominating and creating. So nobody will say, I for one, I am not happy the way things are going on in Nigeria.
All right, we'll go on this break, and when we come back, more talking points before we round off the show. Stick around, don't go away. right, welcome back from that break. Still the agenda, and this the final lap on the agenda this morning. So, we want to set an agenda for this coalition, Marriage of Strange Bedfellows. So, setting an agenda for them ahead of 2027. Is it going to be about the party, about their selfish interests, or for the people? And then, what do we expect them to come up with at the end of the day, so that Nigerians will still be an uninclusive system where the people also have their voice?
Thank you very much. Nigeria is currently operating one-party multipartism. You see all of them rushing.
One party, multi-partism. Break it down.
You see all of them rushing towards APC now.
Okay.
By the time they finish that place, they rush back again.
Okay.
There's no direction, rat race. So, but now that
you call it a rat race?
That's a rat race. You'll be batting here and there. What kilo and bet for me? What can I get? What can I get? Okay. And then you know it 4 years gone, 8 years gone. Then you now become armchair critics after 8 years.
Armchair critics.
You will see them. You will see with the
current. You say the politicians will be the rats at this time.
Well, I don't want to name names. They name no names. For to name the names of those that have gone beyond is to disturb their spirit. So, so what we are saying is that look at this current economic policy. If this new coalition has gone and hold on it, look at this security, and then look at the other aspect, the environmental crisis. the current political party will go. If yes, I mean this thing cannot continue. Is it the unpreparedness when it comes to the issue of disaster?
So what agenda do we set?
The agenda we set now is that there's need for there to be opposition, and the opposition, they should come together as they are coming, and then have a kind of one voice. Put somebody who you think can face the other one on ground, and then forget about yourself. Though 3 factors will come together. Self-interest is there. You can't rule it out. It's all about self. And then you start talking about others. If you are not okay, others can be okay. So then you look at the collective something, interest of the masses who have been suffering. Right from COVID-19 up to today, we have not enjoyed anything. So you look at that one. Then you look at the economy, something, the Bretton Woods, the IMF-driven economy. Then the issue of, so by the time they come together and then they give, if their presidential candidate is coming from the north, then you pick maybe a running mate from the south, and then you say you distribute the rest, Senate president, they are distribute like that before they go. If you don't do it before you go, by the time they get one thing or the other, if one's for small party, if you say he get one governor somewhere, he get another, he will be thinking of how to be going to the governor and be getting and be protecting the interest of his economy.
Another rat race.
Yes, another rat race, economic interest. Forgetting about that their center. So these are the things that they, and then I don't know, this one will be too much. I don't see any of them coming doing anything. This system cannot continue this way. That's why some of us have been agitating for restructure. We can't get anywhere. However, we are going nowhere. I mean, we have been demethodized. The method being used there won't give us anything. If you say it's a federal system and you are using what they call unitary system to operate, you can't get anywhere. It's not causing. I'm telling you, we have to go back to basic. Then look at the issue of security. I've been talking about multi-level policing. There should be police at the center, police at the state, police at local government, police at the institution, police at the city. You have created crisis, and now the police are now crime focused instead of peace focused. Where will you get to? And you are the one creating this thing that is causing crime. How do you explain all these things? So these are the issues. That's human security. I'm not talking about national security. United Nations, something that COVID-19, and some other. So what we are saying is that if you have it that way, and then have the lesser parties too, the one that will get 2 senators, they want this here and there, let them be there to spread the thing and then to balance power and terror. If you concentrate on the 2 something that is coming, that will be a problem, because those people will be rushing about and then they will go underground. And then there are all these things will be looked into. And then, of course, there's one statement made by the president this morning that the people I will quickly want to make allusion. He said he's asking the soldier to crush terrorism. I take that one. Crush banditry. I take that one. Crush insurgency. I take that. Crush separatists. What's the meaning of that? If you cross separatists, you cross the wall. You cross United Nations and talk about self-determination of any group that they feel cheated. So I'm averse to that. Your president should not come and be telling you to cross separatists. People say in our group, we don't like what you are doing in Nigeria, we want to go straight to. Why should you be angry? You call them together and then you hire until how? They are separatists are in Europe. About 12 countries now are planning to leave Europe, and they are still attending European Union. Nobody is attacking them. So we should look at all those things. This issue of some people sitting down somewhere and be teleguiding and be controlling, you thou shall not talk, you should not. This nation is going nowhere.
John, your agenda for today.
Well, I believe that things can change, and to begin when we have a visionary leader. And I think that this coalition, if there is about Nigeria and Nigerians, it will work. Okay. If it's about their interest, it may not work. However, bringing the president candidate of the ADC from the north would be a betrayal of the gentleman, albeit unwritten agreement. The power need to go to the south and to the north, as it were. So I hope that this coalition will be about the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians, and not about the interests of a few political elements who are a bit feels disgruntled with what is happening today.
All right, we may just have to leave now on the agenda this morning. However, before I leave on the agenda this morning, I have a word for you listening or watching me right now. All right, before we leave, despite the bleak picture, there is hope. Change is possible, but it must begin with the recognition that the current system is fundamentally flawed. Leadership must be redefined, not as a position of privilege, but of service and sacrifice. There must be a commitment to transparency, accountability, and equitable development. Electoral processes must be reformed to reflect the true will of the people. Traditional institutions must return to their ethical roots, serving as true custodians of community values. Religious leaders must reclaim their prophetic role, challenging injustice, advocating for the poor, and nurturing civic responsibility. Communities must rebuild trust, revive collective consciousness, and reawaken the values that once held them together. Well, Comrade Angel Folorunsho, it's good to have you on the agenda again this morning.
Many times.
And I hope that your angelic vibe might just change the country, as it were.
As we are working together.
But you have no wings.
We can still fly with words.
A son of man as an angel.
We still have words to say.
To say.
It's all about words.
Thank you for featuring.
Thank you very much.
John Izuchukwu. John.
It's my pleasure, Chicken.
You're a development researcher. How do we develop this country? We'll discuss that someday. Thank you for featuring on the agenda this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, the viewer, for being there. Let's keep the conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. The handle is at Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X, it is at Dominion Cast. Visit our website at www.dominion.org.ng. My name is Chike Ubogu. Have a very productive week and stay positive.